Greetings, friends, and welcome to the Artsywodad Ramen and Sushi Bar. Today, we are going to be eating some delicious Japanese sushi, and we are going to be talking about manga and anime art using the famous Naruto as our inspiration, and we are going to be combining it with a Chow Chow. This idea of inspiration comes from a wonderful student of mine named Desiree, so I thank you for that idea. And the results are going to be absolutely stunning. So, let's go ahead and get into the creation station and check it out. Greetings, friends. Today we are going to be combining our Naruto anime with a Chow Chow puppy. Again, I want to give a big shout out to my student Desiree for the amazing inspiration. The results thus far have been absolutely stunning. So, since we're working with the Chow Chow, we are going to go landscape orientation, that is horizontal side to side, so we can get the entire body. For Naruto, we are going to be focused on the face and the shadow jutsu move, shadow clone jutsu with his hand, incorporating that with some dog paws and a little bit of the manga anime shading and coloring we're going to get into a little bit after this video. So let's go ahead and get started. The face is going to end up on the upper right-hand portion of the page, and it's going to take up about 2/3 of it so that we can leave a little bit of room for our legs. We're going to start with our nose as we always have with our cartoons, but it's going to look a little bit different. So we're going to begin with a curve coming down, and then a couple little nostrils going across like that. We're going to go ahead and make a curve for our eye right inside the bridge of our nose, and then an angle coming down, and a circle in the upper center portion with our pupil. Then we're going to move over. Imagine there's another bridge of a nose right here. We're going to get our eye coming down with our curve, our circle, and our pupil. And then we're going to move down to the mouth. Now, we're going to use a line on both sides to show where our end points are going to be on our mouth. And we're going to bring our lip in from the nose so we have that Chow puppy lip, and put some little dots in here to represent where the Chow puppy little whiskers would be. And we're going to go ahead and put a puppy dog tongue. Now, then before we get to the ears and the hair and the eyebrows coming down, we're going to go ahead and run a headband across the face and bring a hair in here. You're going to notice lots of angular hair bits wherever they're going to be. And then our eyebrow coming in on both sides underneath the headband. And we're going to do a point on the ear on the top and a curve on the bottom. Make some angles the inner ear and a little half circle. Same thing on the opposite side. Our half circle and our angle. Now we're going to bring the chin together. So we're going to go all the way down to the chin. Alright. It looks like Mr. Marker is on his last leg. We're going to add the 9-tail whiskers, which is a key feature of Naruto. Alright. 1, 2, 3. If you're cartooning, you might make little errors like that, and that's okay. We're going to bring our headband up on both sides. And we're going to begin our hair. Lots of angles, so follow along with me. I'm going to go ahead and put 1V angle here. We're going to work on overlapping, so we're going to start our next hair a little bit below the angle we just created. We're going to curve down to the left with our next hair and back up. We're going to do the same thing next to it, down to the left, back up. We're going to come up to the left, and then come down, up to the right, down, up to the right again, down, up to the center, down, up to the right, down, down to the right, up, a little hair in here, and then one more on the right coming up and across, and then one last angle coming down on the right side. Then we're going to tie our headband in from right to left, and we're going to add the Leaf Village symbol. Make a little nameplate across the front, angle down, swirl all the way in, and our little V shape at the bottom. So we are finished with the cartoon part of the face. What we're going to do next is we're going to make the chow mane coming across, which is a funny little play on words like the Asian dish, the mane of the chow mane. And we're going to go ahead and start down low with a zigzag pattern that's going to go all the way up and over our hair here. Going to start curving in. Going to go a little bit to the right. Off the page, but then we're going to add it in the top corner to suggest some movement. Now, we want to show that the hair furs are coming outward. So we're going to create a pattern by drawing lines from the center out at an even spacing in between, however you wish to do it. It doesn't have to exactly match mine. All the way around, and putting it in between the hairs will help. Now, in order to do the shadow clone jutsu, we're going to draw a paw coming down and up, and the rest of the paw is going to be over here. So we're going to do a zigzag to show the shaggy hair. 1, 2, 3 to suggest those are little paws. And again on the other side, coming across, another paw, shaggy right here, and we'll do a couple lines to suggest movement there. Now, again, we're going to go outward with our lines for the fur to suggest movement. Okay, now, we all know dog typically bigger in the chest and then it tapers up. So we're going to start down here. And we're going to work our way upward and then straight down for our hind legs. Zigzag a little bit back and forth here till we get to the tail. And do a couple little curves for the paws. We're going to do a second paw right here in front of the other rear paw. And a zigzag going up, out, 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 out. And boom, boom. Little pause. All right, now, here's a really cool element. The tail of the chow curves in. much like the Leaf Village symbol. So that is called balance in your artwork. When you have two elements that match each other, although different sizes, it creates visual balance and movement across your page. So let's get into that. What we're going to do is we're going to create a curving tail going all the way in like this and then outward. And then we're going to kind of have a furry back going like that. Now, in order to continue with the texture, I'm going to start where all the fuzziness is, and I'm going to follow the direction that I moved. So those lines are going to move. And then I'm going to kind of fill in along the way with some extra. All right. Sign my work at the bottom. I'm going to put a signature right here because I'm going to add some color later and I want that Sharpie to be able to show up. Now, we're going to be adding a background to this and we're going to be adding some color to it. We're going to be adding some shadow to it and talking about mixed media. I'm going to pause it right here so that everybody can catch up on their work. And then we're going to come back in and bring this piece to life. Hey, and we are back with part 2 of our Naruto Chow Chow lesson, and what we are going to do is add our ramen shop into the background. So we're just going to make a nice ground line here and a step up where the curve would go, which will mimic on the opposite side. And we're going to go ahead and add some of the Japanese character flags hanging in the window where you sit and eat, like so. And a couple stools I'll put right here. And the pedestal base for them. We'll go ahead and put another over here behind the tail. Tie that in. And one more. That. Now we're going to go ahead and add our characters. And the first one, start off with a square. Dash going through. It gets a little bit larger on the right hand side. So I'm thickening that side of it up. Okay, and a couple splashes coming out on either side. Thicker on the right. A line down the center. Dash above the top. And strike through. So, 2 dashes coming out the bottom and a J shape. Next to that, we'll have what looks sort of like a swoosh, maybe minus the end of that check, and the teardrop shooting forward. And then going through the hair, we have what appears to be an S. What it looks like, about that much of it. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about shading, which is one of the key elements here. And so, we're going to start with a pencil and go along our eyes and our nose all the way down towards the bottom. And we're just going to shade that in with a nice hard pencil so it won't smear. I'm using a 4H pencil for this one, which is a great shading pencil that does not smudge for your initial shading. And we're going to go ahead and add some around our eyebrows and eyes. Kind of a V shape. So the idea is that our light source is coming from the center and moving over to the right. A little bit under our tongue, shadow right there. And then we're going to move up to our hair. So we'll start with the first one that we drew and put a triangle. So that will be our initial shadow. The next one will be quite similar, tilting in a little bit more. And the hair on the left will be the entire bottom. Okay, then moving into the next hair, pretty much the same thing. And above that, we'll have shadow coming down on the bottom of the left one. And then the bottom of both parts meeting in the middle with the hair next to it. After that, we'll have a hair coming down in the center, sort of floating, a little shadow there, and another one opposite to it with the shape slightly turned to the side. We're going to bring one shadow up to the middle, in between the triangles we've created, a polygon shape, sort of like a diamond pointing downward. And then a little bit on our right side of the right, and again on the right side of the far right. To our next hair coming down, we're going to get a little bit of meat in the middle, on the bottom, on the top of the next hair, and the bottom of the far right. On our middle hair, we're going to get the bottom left, and then that one is going to kind of shoot out into some of the empty space and reach down towards the headband in the center. Color that in. Nice gray in there. All right. We're going to come back and color that shortly, but what I would like to do is start to do some of the Chow Chow. Now what we're going to do there is we're going to use a pastel or a crayon on its side and rub it back and forth to make it look light and fluffy like our chow hair. So I'll go ahead, light and fluffy, back and forth, fill that in. And then to our paws, and to the other paws, along the body, back and forth. Body, paws, paws in the back, and then swirling around our tail. Now, the great thing about using a pastel or a crayon is the versatility. So we're going to use a red for the walls of our ramen bar. And we're going to use the point of it and press firmly. So rather than using the side of it and pressing lightly, we're going to get a completely different effect out of the same material. Now, if we were just using brown, the effect would still be equally as strong, just without the use of a different color. But we're getting a different effect and a different color here, which is going to create more contrast in our artwork and really make it stand out. So a little bit more to go here, a little bit more to go here, and a little bit more up. Now, very last thing that we're going to do for coloring is using a yellow marker, and we're going to get all of our hair. I'm going to start below the headband, and now I'm going to move up into the hair that I've created, and you can see the shading effect go the direction of the hair to keep it consistent, up and down, back and forth, in whichever direction the hair is moving, that's the direction I'm going to make my strip. Alright, so we're just going to kind of follow our intuition here and follow our lines, follow our shapes that we've created in here, and that's going to give us the best sense of direction. Now we're going down towards the middle, down to the left, up to the left, over our shadow, down to the left, down to the left again, and really fill in our space. Okay, we have one last little element of surprise here, and that is to take a little pink pastel and really make that tongue stand out, a little sense of wonder. And I am going to stop there because I would like to see, based on what we've done, a little side shading, a little firm pressure coloring, pencil shading, marker mixing, and special details with the pastel, how you would use the rest of the artwork and the unfinished element to get your work colored in. So, I hope you've enjoyed drawing our Naruto Chow Chow, and have a wonderful rest. What a fabulous lesson! We set out clear goals for ourselves, and through clarity, we bred mastery. And a Chow Chow with a chow mein on Naruto, and learned some anime tips and tricks, as well as some other insight to integrate into our work. So as a final reminder, I want to remind you about that relentless grit. Practice with joy. Over and over and over. And integrate your insights and breed that mastery through developing the wonderful habits you have created in whatever it is you set out to do. Never stop drawing. Have a great weekend. Peace and wild blessings to you. Goodbye.